I don't think we're ready. We are. Go ahead and start. Okay. Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Tuesday, December 21st, 2021 meeting of the Moorhead Public Service Commission to order. Customers wishing to address the commission for items that are not on the agenda, please fill out the request to speak form located on the table back there. And give it to the administrative assistant in attendance at the meeting prior to speaking. Customers wishing to address the commission regarding a specific agenda item other than the rate hearings will be given an opportunity during the discussion of that item. Each customer will be given 3 minutes to address the commission. We are here to listen. Any follow-up or feedback will be done by email or on anything that cannot be resolved this evening. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion by Daly, seconded by Durand, to approve the meeting agenda. Daly,
Yes.
Durand,
Yes.
McDougall,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Thompson, yes. I'd now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by McDougall, seconded by Paulson, to approve the consent agenda. Discussion? Seeing none. Daly,
Yes.
Durand, McDougall,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Are there any customers to be heard or recognitions? Mr. Schmidt? Okay. Thank you. No customers to be heard, I see. Okay. Any old business, folks? All right. Seeing none, I'll enter into reports. City Council, Mr. Hendrickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just got a few items here. We did pass the second reading regarding adding a member of the City Council to the MPS board, so passed with a full majority. We also passed a resolution to establish the redevelopment plan for the Days Inn on that side of town and establish a TIF district for that area. So things are going to look good on that side of town now because we got a lot of development going on there. So, and kudos to Derek LaPointe and City Manager Dan Molly did a great job on that. And I know I've been talking about this for the last month, but we did approve the 2020 tax levy and budget and the EDA tax levy too. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Public Service Commission, any reports? Seeing none, moving on to the General Manager's report. Mr. Schmidt.
All right, hopefully that works. Okay. Typically, Mark does this. He's running a little late tonight. He's still at the office. He'll be here momentarily. Really, the only thing on the item tonight is just an update on the collections due. Mark's been doing this for probably since June of 2020, giving a monthly update on where we're at with the COVID numbers or the past due accounts. So November 2021, we were at about 15.9% past due. Prior to COVID, we were sitting about the same, so 15.7, 15.8. So we're pretty much back to normal when it comes to that. Again, Mark has alluded to, we started with 554 accounts that were on a 24-month payment plan. Currently, it looks like we have about 249 that are still active in the payment plan. totaling about $311,000 in monthly payment plans until roughly April of 2023. So other than that, the other accounts, the other 537 of the 955,000 that went into the payment plan, those have fallen off. They either defaulted or they moved out of Moorhead, so everything was finalized on their final bill. Or they received some type of assistance as well too to pay some of those things off. Again, like Mark's talked about, we are in cold weather rule. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in our collection of accounts presentation we're going to give. Again, customers, if they are struggling to pay their bills, they should reach out to West Central Community Action Agency. It's the local LIHEAP program administrator. Along with that, Rent Help Minnesota, we're starting to see some more funds come in through that avenue as well too. So there are some opportunities out there to receive assistance if you're struggling, and we encourage that, and staff does that on a daily basis. I actually talked to a customer personally today about that and tried to point her in the right direction. So other than that, that is all I have for the general manager's report, unless you have some questions.
Not, thank you.
You.
Item number 10, specifications and authorization and authorized advertisement for bids for transformer at Moorhead DOE tap substation.
Sure. I'm going to have Matt Marks come up and speak to this evening. This is a transformer that was damaged in the storm back in June of this year, and this is the process we're going to start to get back to normal. Matt, go ahead.
Matt Marks, project engineer. So we have DGR Engineering. Engineering firm has entered into a task order to work on the transformer and the circuit switcher that were both damaged. The replacement for those. They are kind of in the final stages of putting those specifications together. Due to the timeline of advertising for bids, receiving the bids and then evaluating them, and the long lead time of these transformers, we're thinking at the time of writing this that we'd be expecting it in May 2023. From what we've been hearing from some suppliers, it could be even later than that, even into 2024. So in order to get the advertisement for bids out at the beginning of January, with the holidays going on, we're just asking that this be approved contingent upon final legal approval by Attorney John Bolger. The estimated costs, we do have two options in the specifications. One is for a 75 MVA transformer. This is the same size as the one that was damaged. So kind of a replacement with like. That's estimated at about $2.5 million. And then the other option is for a upsized larger transformer, 186.7 MVA, and that's estimated about $3.25 million. The reason we have that option for a larger one is that the estimated life for these transformers is about 50 years. We're looking at Moorhead Public Services and Moorhead, the city of Moorhead's next 50 years. We want a transformer that's going to be adequate for the size of the town going into the future. So we're replacing with one that's the same size and can handle the same load. We want to look at a larger transformer that'll be able to handle a larger load going into the future. So we do have both those options and the specifications, and we'll be receiving bids for both of those. The costs for some of this we expect to be reimbursed by insurance. We're still waiting on kind of the final numbers from insurance on how much, what kind of size of a check they'll be cutting us for the replacement of the damaged equipment. Part of that is they would like to see what the bids come in for that like-size transformer that we are advertising for. The rest of this, since this is transmission equipment, will be part of the Southwest Power Pool tariff, and so we'll see cost recovery on that on a 10 to 15-year time frame. Are there any questions?
Questions from Matt?
One thing to add to that, Matt and I are also working on a possible gap coverage transformer, just a used transformer we're going to maybe put on that site until the new one shows up, just from a reliability and redundancy standpoint as well too. So we're still working through that process as well too. Again, that is something that would be covered by insurance as well.
How much, and maybe it's in here and I just didn't see it. It talks about the reimbursement from SPP. Would that recover costs for the larger transformer?
Yes, that would.
Yeah.
Have any more details on that? But yeah, anything that's within that transmission equipment
Okay.
would still be covered.
Yeah, we'd probably get covered for the difference between what insurance paid for and the rest of it, and that would be covered over a period of time, and that's through that annual transmission revenue recapture we have with SPP. So we never got that before until we moved into the SPP market, and with WAPA moving into that now opens that up for reimbursement on any transmission upgrades or facilities. Everything has to be, of course, approved, but it at least something we didn't have before we now can at least leverage.
Thank you. Any other questions? I'd entertain a motion then.
Approval.
Second?
I have a motion by Duran, seconded by Paulson, to approve specifications and authorize advertisement for bids for transformer at Moorhead DOE tap substation. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Daley?
Yes.
Duran? McDougal?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Thank you, Matt. Item number 11, specification and authorize advertisements for bids for the 2022 water treatment and wastewater treatment chemicals.
Again, I'm going to have Mark Pritchard, our water plant supervisor, talk about this. Again, this is something we work with the city of Moorhead on at the wastewater department in purchasing chemicals collaboratively on an annual basis. So from there, I'm going to let Mark go ahead and speak to this.
Thank you, Travis. Mark Pritchard, Water Plant Supervisor. As Travis had mentioned a moment ago, each year the water treatment plant and the city wastewater plant collaborate together to combine our needed chemicals for advertisement for bids for annual chemical contracts. We usually do approximately 15 chemicals between the two different facilities, and some of them are used at both facilities, and that's where we began recommending that we combine these things to a single bid for efficiencies to be gained. These are for one-year contracts, and we are anticipating this year, based off of the ongoing struggles with supply lines, that we will see some costs being adjusted upward, specifically for chlorine. Many of the production facilities down on the Gulf Coast that produce chlorine for various different applications have been pretty far behind in their normal productions, and we have been talking with neighboring utilities in the area in Minnesota who have already let their advertisement for bids, and they have seen significant increases. The good news for us, the silver lining, is that we don't go through a whole lot of chlorine on an annual basis relative to other chemicals, so the overall cost increase that we're anticipating should be fairly minor overall. The annual contracts are cumulative to approximately $1.2 million for our budget. Usually we come in just a hair under that, so with this anticipated increase, we're still anticipated to come in right around our budget number, so we're still sitting overall in pretty good shape. The supply lines for the remaining chemicals are more or less intact. We are advertising this one a little bit early, as we have done in the past few years, to make sure that we have plenty of time to line up trucking companies to ship things from across the country to make sure we can treat the water the way we need to. So overall, we're sitting in pretty good shape. We're just putting in a little bit of extra time to make sure that we can set up the logistics behind these contracts.
Questions? Okay, seeing none, I'm entertaining a motion.
So moved.
Okay. We have a motion by McDougal, second by Duran, to approve the specs and advertised bids. Any discussion now? Seeing none. Daley?
Yes.
Duran? McDougal?
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Okay, thank you, Mark. Item number 12, approve final 2022 budgets and rates. Mr. Schmidt.
Sure. Again, we'll have Mark Moorhead come up and speak to the budget and the rates. Overall, nothing has changed since our last conversation in October when we had our rate hearing. Still looking at a 3.5% rate increase on water and nothing for electric. Mark, go ahead.
Thank you, Travis. Good afternoon, commissioners. As Travis indicated, we're looking, as we projected and proposed in October, a 3.5% overall water rate increase. No change to the electric rate increase. Due to the estimates from our power supplier, we expect electric sales overall to decrease a little bit, so there may be an overall slight decrease in our revenues next year, but that'll be more than made up for with a purchase power cost adjustment that they're putting in place that will reduce our expected purchase power cost considerably. The overall impact to an average customer is about $1.60 per month, or an overall increase of about 1.19%. And open for any questions that you may have. We had not heard any comments for customers, obviously, since the proposal went out, or the recommendation. And we haven't seen anything to say that it should be modified in the interim.
Great, thank you. Questions? Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
Move approval?
Second.
Is that you, Mary?
Yes.
Okay. A motion by Paulson, seconded by Daley, to approve the 2022 budget and rates. Any further discussion? Okay, Daley?
Yes.
Durand?
Yes.
McDougal?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Item 15, thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Approve amended policy on collection of accounts.
I'm going to start with this, and I'll have Mark come up if I can't answer the question. Again, in front of you, you have a commission policy. The commission policy previously was the policy of collection of past due accounts. We're suggesting to amend that to say collection of accounts, as it matches more the full process that we have in our billing structure. Along with that, we made a couple minor changes that are in the attached policy in the strike and underline and the clean versions as well too. Just making some modifications, noting that we do provide billing services for the city of Moorhead as needed. And of course, they've been doing that for years, but it was never noted in there. So that's another adjustment we made as well. Overall, a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight is more the administrative policy, and that's the policy that we can that we utilize internally for more of the process that's being used. You basically just delegate the authority to the general manager within the commission policy. We are requesting approval of the commission policy, but we'll go over the administrative policy too as we go through it tonight. So as you can see, there's a PowerPoint on your screens, maybe.
I have mine.
Mary has an issue with hers, so.
It's coming awake.
Perfect. Again, as noted in the, again, this is just the discussion or update or presentation on the collection of accounts. So overall commission policy, as you can see, it's a very brief policy, really just kind of, providing an overview of how we're structured, how we deal with it, good business practices, and then authority through the city charter, and then making sure that we follow those practices as well too. Again, that's draft, so that's if you approve that tonight. Again, the administrative policy, which is the next one, again, that's designed to support the requirements of the commission policy and then outline the operating guidelines that is used by staff. Again, we can adjust the administrative policy periodically based on changes that are going on with either state of Minnesota, utility regulations, or anything that the commission would like to change as well too. So one of the reasons why we're going over the policy 19 tonight as well. Again, overall, MPS expects to collect measures that are applied in a consistent, reasonable manner for the customers. Again, furthermore, we recognize that there are many reasons out there that customers are struggling to pay their bills. Therefore, we encourage staff to be empowered, firm, professional, empathetic, and respectful as they're working with those customers as well, too. Again, active account guidelines. Overall, we have electric and water meters that are arranged in billing routes. This is based on our AMR system that we currently have, and it'll be potentially adjusted once we have an AMI system in place. Again, meter readers attempt to read each meter on a monthly basis, and that's pretty much 99.99% occurring. And you'll see that in our annual report in May or June of every year as well. Meter readings are submitted to our customer account specialist staff, and then they process everything for final review and preparation of the bills for the customers. Each bill is processed and given a billing date and a due date. And then again, part of our philosophy has been that we try to have about 22 days between when the bill is provided to the customer and when their due date is. That gives them 3 weeks basically to pay their bill. Hopefully between getting paid twice a month or every 2 weeks, most customers can be able to pay that bill within that time frame. Again, we'll talk a little bit about the billing flow. Different from cell phones and other types of cable and stuff like that, we bill after the fact instead of in paying it forward like cell phone companies do. So you'll get up to, unless you're a new customer, you'll get 30 days of billing or utility service before we provide the first bill. Again, then once that bill goes out, you have roughly 22 days to pay it. If a payment is not made, then your account is noted as past due. And then the second bill goes out, and then you have roughly 30 days after the first bill goes out, the second bill goes out, and then again you have another 22 days, which roughly makes it about a plus or minus 50 days between the first and the second bill, or from a disconnection happening from the first bill, excuse me. Again, there are some exceptions to that, and we'll note that on the next one where we can't do disconnections. Again, cold weather rule, which is a Minnesota statute. Another Minnesota statute is medically necessary equipment, disconnection during extreme heat conditions, utility payment arrangements for military personnel, and payment agreements, and we'll go through each one of those as well tonight. Again, cold weather rule, as you can see, between October 1st and April 30th, qualifying households are under protections where they cannot be disconnected, and there is roughly 30 days grace period that's also given before we can do that. It typically happens that month of October through the month of November, correct, Mark? Again, qualification criteria, household income must be 50% of the state median household income, and that gets adjusted from year to year, and that's where those LIHEAP programs come into play that we talk about, like West Central Community Action Agency. If a customer meets criteria B, the customer can enter in and make reasonable timely payments and a payment plan arrangement as well too. Again, our philosophy there is have them go to the assistance agencies and try to get the help there first before going into a payment plan arrangement. There are funds available as we continue to talk about that. Roughly $3,200 is what's available for energy assistance. So that pays for your electricity or your gas heat or both. Questions on that at all before I step on to the next one? Seeing none. Another statute that MPS has to comply with is medically necessary equipment. Again, we need to, this is basically if you've got oxygen tank or some type of equipment that's keeping a person alive. We need doctor's orders on that, so we need to get professional, we need to get a doctor's note from them, from a certified medical professional for this equipment. Again, it gives up to 6 months of time for where we wouldn't be able to shut them off. That does allow them to get into a payment plan as well, and we can extend that to 12 months based on certain conditions as well too. So Another item that we would not disconnect for summertime, of course, it's middle of winter right now, so it's very cold outside, but when it does get hot, we do not disconnect in extreme heat conditions. Again, that is based on National Weather Service providing us notification of the extreme heat. And I'm not sure when we had the last one.
I was going to ask, have we ever had one?
I'm not aware of it. Mark?
Travis, it has been a while since we have had one. We did have one about 4 or 5 years ago. Again, it does get warm around here, it does get humid, but not to the point where they declare the extreme heat emergency. And when it does occur, it usually is just a day or two. And so on those days, we will not disconnect, or if someone has been disconnected, we would temporarily reconnect their service.
Mark? Two more actually after this. So again, military personnel, there's if we have a household that has military personnel in there, we do offer, we do not disconnect them as well too. They can get onto a payment plan if they've got service orders or they are being deployed overseas or somewhere in the United States as well too. So we'll work with those customers, and we actually have to, on an annual basis, just like the cold weather rule, we have to provide notification to all customers. So that usually goes out either in the early part of the year or around when we do the cold weather rule as well too. So we do have to provide notification on that. Finally, this is one change that's new or newer, and that is payment arrangements. State of Minnesota requires that there is, allows for customers to have payment arrangements. As you know, cold weather rule is from October 1st through April 30th. There are times of the year where that's not available. Again, there's still, the assistance agencies are still open, but they do have times that they are not providing assistance. So depending upon what's going on, we can enter into PPAs, and the criteria is available for that too. Again, if you've received LIHEAP funding or other social services, you basically qualify for getting onto a payment plan. Again, those payment plans are very similar to what we did with COVID. With the COVID payment plan, again, you got to make your monthly payments plus, whatever the agreed upon amount is from the past due account or past due portion of the bill as well too. So you do have to keep on top of it moving forward as well. With that, I'll leave it open for any questions or comments or anything like that. I know it's pretty brief, but again, Mark and I spent probably the last 2-3 months reviewing this, trying to make sure we found everything. We were working with, working through several, roughly 6 statutes, and then the League of Minnesota Cities provides a lot of good guidance as well too. So went through all that and then provided it to Attorney Shockley to take a quick look at it as well too. He came back with very minor adjustments to the actual policy, administrative policy.
Questions? Go ahead.
Oh, if my mic's on, okay. I don't have a question or anything. I just want to say thank you to reviewing that policy, because I know that can be kind of a contentious issue. And just knowing that you spend so much time researching and reviewing and vetting it, yeah, I appreciate that. And I think our customers will really appreciate that too.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not the most ideal thing for us to have to do, but occasionally we do have to, just to prompt some action or at least a conversation, and it does help us point many individuals to the right direction, and it's incredible the number that don't realize that help is out there, that assistance is out there, and when they do, the turnaround time is sometimes as short as a couple hours. We'll get an arrangement or an agreement that they're going to pay within a couple of hours. It's just getting it started. Again, ideally, we'd love to not have to disconnect services, but again, as Travis indicated, there is a 50-day delay between the first bill and the time that we actually do a disconnection, and we do try to do as many notifications as possible in the form of the bill, the second bill with the cutoff notice. We do attempt courtesy calls whenever we have phone numbers on file, and try to just get the customers in touch with those agencies. I appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
I appreciate the change in the policy title. I thought that was smart.
It really reflects what we physically do. It's just not dealing with past due accounts, it's dealing with all accounts. And, you know, again, as we noted earlier, we have roughly about 15 to 16% where we are people that are having past due account issues. So, you know, we deal with those on a monthly basis and try to help them get back to normal as much as possible. But it is, some people do struggle with it.
Questions or comments? Okay, and entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Duran, seconded by McDougall to approve the amended policy on collection of accounts. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Daley?
Yes.
Duran?
Yes.
McDougall?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Okay. Item 16. Closed meeting for executive session. This meeting will now be closed for executive session as permitted by Minnesota statute, section 13D.03, to discuss labor negotiation strategies. Do we expect action to be taken?
Yes.
Okay. So action is expected in open session upon conclusion of the executive session. I entertain a motion to close the meeting. Okay, a motion by Daley, seconded by Durand. Close the meeting for executive session. Daley?
Yes.
Durand?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
McDougall?
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Meeting is now closed.
Yeah, right? Oh, right.
I say we seal the book then, Ollie, and let them.
Yeah.
Say that we're starting, or does it say we're waiting? Okay, we're back from closed session. I need to make a motion here, or I need somebody to make a motion to reopen the public meeting.
So moved?
Second?
Okay, I have a motion by Paulson, seconded by McDougal, to reopen the public meeting. Discussion? I don't think we need to, but Daley?
Yes.
Durand?
Yes.
McDougal?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Yeah, Thompson, yes. Okay, we were in closed session, and we have 4 items that we need to approve in open session. Item 16A, which is the collective bargaining agreement with ASME. Do you want anybody to say anything about this? Do you want to, no?
All you need to do is open the floor up for a motion.
Okay, thank you. I entertain a motion to approve that.
Second.
We have a motion by Duran, seconded by Daley, to approve the collective bargaining agreement with AFSCME. Any discussion? Seeing none. McDougal?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Duran?
Yes.
Daley?
Yes.
Thompson? Yes. Item 16B would be the collective bargaining agreement with IBEW. I entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved?
Second?
Okay, I have a motion by Paulson, seconded by McDougal, to approve the collective bargaining agreement with the IBEW. Discussion? Seeing none. McDougal?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Duran? Daley?
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Okay, item 16C, professional and supervisory employment group, base pay structure. Entertain a motion.
Second.
I got a motion by Duran, seconded by Daley, to approve the 2022 pay structure for PSE group. Discussion? Seeing none. McDougal?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Duran? Daley?
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Okay, item 16D. Approve professional and supervisory employee handbook, the revised version.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion by McDougal, seconded by Paulson, to approve the revised professional and supervisory employee handbook. Discussion? Seeing none. Daley?
Yes.
Duran?
Yes.
McDougal?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Thompson? Yes. Okay, that concludes the business on item number 16. Noted that we have 2 meetings in January scheduled. How does it look for January 4th?
Tentatively, we don't have anything on the agenda right now, so we don't plan to have that meeting. February looks to be a 2-meeting month.
Okay, great, thanks for the heads up. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion by Duran, seconded by Daley, to adjourn this meeting. Paulson,
Yes.
Daley, Duran,
Yes.
McDougal,
Yes.
Thompson, yes. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming. Happy New Year.
You as well.